I found out that this man, who was Dr. Malachi York,
This three-eye atlas thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't because the Arabs are messing everything up, so hell, I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A sword myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, and then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth, and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet.
Extraterrestrials do leave their children here. We can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds. Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building this craft in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. That means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures on a lower level.
Souls are recycled. Spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about the spirit and the soul. And empower you to go and research and break the spell. Don't be under the influence of misinformation. Okay? Remember, everyone can do something to help us on this planet to make it the planet that we want to live in. So you can share, you can like, you can subscribe, make comments on the videos, and most of all, reach at least one person and help them. So each one teach one, okay? Rahubat, Y energy. All right, yeah, please get the likes up. Coco Brown in the house. Yeah, we know the real people that are like really on Wu-Sabat, and yeah, they're studying, they're learning. And we want to get this to the world. You know, we need to reach 8 billion people on the planet. And it's those who will resonate and accept Wu-Sabat. So, yeah, do your thing, do your bit by helping. Like, share, subscribe, and most of all, hit the notification bell so we can keep you up to date. We've got a lot coming for you. All right. Rahubat Pharaoh. Yeah. Jeremiah, Rahubat, Ashok. Rahubat, everyone joining. Yeah, remember to get whatever beverage you want to get because, you know, we need to be relaxed so we can take in the information. Miss Iris Moss. Man, I never get tired of this. It's so healthy. It's got lots of minerals. You know, we always working, man. We always putting that content out for you. So we got to basically stay healthy. Rahubat Gen 7130. Yeah, hit that like button. Nebu Rahubat. Rahubat. Yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to 12-12-25. Yeah, that's going to change the world. We got so much in store for you. You know, Wu-Sabat just never stops. There's just so much. You know, we're trying to reach that 76 trillion years of information from outformation. But we got to get to the 24,000 first. You know, we got 24,000 years of that. And we are literally just started with the new 24,000 year sun cycle that started in the year 2000 AD. I sound like a rapper, innit? No, but really, you know, Henrik in the house, Rahul Bat. Roderick, Milton, Rahul Bat. Leonard, Rahul Bat. Yeah. Yeah, let us know where you are, where you all are chiming in from. Let us know, represent your town, your city. You know what I mean? Let us know so we know how we're reaching the world. Yeah. Fab Solar in the house, Rahubat. Sakhet Ra Rahubat. Yeah, Rahubat to everyone. You know, it's you that make this show, because without you, we'll have no questions, and your questions actually help everyone. So never think that your question is silly. Don't think it's too complicated. You have a question, just ask it. Just ask it, because you never know who's going to benefit from your question, because sometimes people are thinking the same thing, but maybe shy or not brave enough to say it. And then somebody else says it and they're like, thank goodness somebody asked a question, because that's the question I've always had, you know, and the answer then helps that person. And you never know how many people have that same question. So I feel that your question is silly or too, because we'll do our best to answer it. Okay, Twam Buttery 2546, Rahul back. Yep, the 6 ether beings always trying to sabotage our Saturday class is really an indication that Wu-Sabat is making an impact. 100%, 100%. And it's funny because, you know, on the planet, yeah, we use these terms like 6 ether, 9 ether. We talk about Mukasu, the Adamites, and, you know, sometimes people mix everybody together, but you can tell who you are by what you do, by your behavior. But like, why would somebody, if they don't claim to be 6 ether or coming with negative energy and negative vibrations, why would you do something negative? By doing these, just proving and showing who you really are. And there are people who people may be judgmental and look at and say they're 6 ether, but they're actually behaving and carrying themselves much more professional, respectful manner. So you are by your nature, you see. So all they're doing is just proving us right. Have you pressed the like button yet? If you haven't, here's the opportunity and time for you to do so. Hit yes if you have, and if you haven't, then do so, please. Leonardo Richardson, welcome. You're part of the team, OSM team. Yeah, good to see that. All right, who else has joined us? Oh, Sakam Sanan Manthu Hatap, my good brothers in the house. Yeah, Rahubat Zamal, Kayefa Thir Antak. Yeah, all right. Who else? Lily, 11223. Elisha from Florida in the house, Rahubat. Yeah, free Dr. Malachi Z. York, 100%, absolutely. Never gonna stop until we see him home with us. Johnston, okay, where's PA? Jones, is that John? That's Jen 7130. Let us know where you're chiming in from. Ban Gang Dre 9696. Rahubat. Rahubat Zamal, if you are a Zamal. Or Rahubat Zamal Tat, if you're a Zamal Tat. Who else? Free to be 2688. Rahubat. Rahubat. Chicago in the house. Rahubat. Y Energy. Good. Rahubat. Rahubat. Okay. You know, some people like, you don't even know. Well, I guess if you don't know if it's not their, you know, you can't really blame them. But in our Telegram group, some people are just like, I don't know. We have to remember the basics of being courteous to each other. Greetings before you start dropping a million questions, and you know, like actually greet each other, and please and thank yous are always, you know, it's good. Like some people just want to just badger us like we're just here to, do you know what I mean? Like we don't mind because this is our job. We love it. Like there's nothing greater than to share truth around the world, from the spell of Leviathan, from the spell of Kingu, from the spell of Six Ether, the spell of fear, the spell of division, and fighting against each other. We're about love, and you shook. Yeah, I shook. That's what we're dealing with, divine love. Not an easy thing to achieve. Unconditional love for everyone, everything, the planet, do you know what I mean? The insects, everything in nature, and striking that balance where you're not being abused, you're not, you know what I mean, being taken for granted, but you're also very loving and caring. Remember, if you want to ring in live and ask your question, you can. The number is +44 if you're calling from outside the UK, 753 996 3882. I repeat, +44 753 996 3882. All right, you can call in and ask your question live. It's a WhatsApp. You can ring for free. It won't cost you because we're using VoIP, voice over IP. Okay. Yeah, ring in. It's good to interact and hear your tones. All right, who else has joined us? Supreme 4490, Rahul Bat. Oh, you see, this is what I was just saying. Supreme, at least say Rahul Bat. My brother or sister, I'm not sure if you're male or female, but I think the energy seems like you're a Zamal. Okay, you just come in straight with a question. Do a masterclass explanation of how the third dimensional realm is a manifestation of the subconscious mind. 100%. We'll do a video on that. I think we actually did a video 90. If you haven't seen that yet, have a look at that and let us know if that doesn't cover what you're looking to find out. But you're right. Create your reality.
Can we just swap the mics?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're saying it's chopping out. But we can just come and just swap these two.
Excuse us for a moment.
But let me just swap this piece and then we'll grab this piece in there. Then let's see if that's what.
Okay, we just want to see if the sound is better. Yeah, is that any better? Let us know if you can hear us. Show us some love. Show us some love by sharing. Yes, thanks Sakam Sanan Manthu Hatap, reminding everyone to join the Telegram group. Sakam Sanan Manthu Hatap is a good brother. He does a lot of the readings of the scrolls, and you know, he always posts the link for those who are in the Telegram group to join, because you know, he reads and goes through the different scrolls. We have so many scrolls. Some of them are out of print and people may not be able to get hold of them. So, you know, that's an opportunity for you to read, interact, discuss and ask questions on the scroll that is also being read, and a new scroll is read as soon as you finish one. Yeah, so yeah, that's great. This is good because we were saying on Saturday before, the intruders, 6 ether intruders, that everyone can do something to help, like answer questions, ask questions, share the links, get involved with the family, go to the stores and help out, get to know people. Don't just be like someone on the internet that's just like a spectator, just watching. Get involved. And when you start spreading Wu-Sabat, I hear the stories all the time, like people will be in situations, and even as much as you're trying your best not to not even offend anyone or make anyone feel uncomfortable, but somebody will bring up religion or will come up with something that they have no clue what's really going on, and you're sitting there with someone, and information, and then you might just say, well, actually, and you share just a little bit, and before you know it, it's hours and hours of conversation, because you become the teacher at that moment, and people just keep asking you questions, and all you do is share what you've learned by way of Wu-Sabat. You know what I'm saying? So it's good when you see people doing something like reading scrolls, making videos, resharing our videos, remixing, and as long as you link back to us, we're cool with that, because you're doing your bit to help. Okie dokie, 1919, the time is right now. Well, it just changed, but it was 1919 when I looked at it. Henrik, would you say Rahubat Moisa, another powerful session? Free the master teacher, 100%. 1000%. Let's free the master teacher. Let's not just make that a cliche or a word that we just repeat. What does that actually mean? Yeah, go to the website, help, get involved, offer a free will offering, get involved with the legal. How can I help? Just search that on our website, unitedsabiansworldwide.com. All right. Okay, I am looking for questions. Why Energy, Chicago here, City of Chaos, from Barack Obama's neighborhood, Hyde Park. The crime here is unbelievable. Robberies, armed robberies, but they keep it out of the news. Yeah, that's the thing. You've got to be within your space, because you can be somewhere and your mental state and your environment will give you a protection, and like we say, you can manifest your reality. So you can be in the world but not of it. So if you can find ways of, like you say, maintaining your peace, your family, and work your way to getting out of the chaos, because things are going to get worse before they get better, and certain parts of the planet are not going to be kosher, halal, safe to be. So that's why we keep telling you got to come in on the inside and learn and hear the good news from the angel that is here to guide and let you know what's to do. John, G2R4H. I think that's maybe a word. I can't make it out. But greetings, brother, to you and all truth seekers. One love. Yeah, absolutely. One love. That's what we're trying to get to. One mind, one heart, one love, all in all. The 47th problem of the Euclid is the signet of Melchizedek, King of Righteousness. That's from Gen 7130. Okay, Henrik, What are the benefits of, that's our first question for the day. What are the benefits of a long fast with herbs and fresh lemon from a Wu-Sabat perspective? Tawutat. Fasting in general, right, brings about so many benefits. It is not because people are religious or because religious people fast. We in Wu-Sabat, we fast because of the health benefits, right? I'm going to give you as many as I can. The first one is to teach you how to to give gratitude, okay? Gratitude is important in life, because just the fact that we're still here in this day and time, to have the master teacher with us, and the day and time where truth is being revealed and we're actually like renewing everything, it's a moment like many would have really loved to be here in this moment. So first of all, when you fast, you recognize that there are people around the world that may not have access to food or that can't eat. There are wars going on right now. There are people starving, you know what I mean, because of the wars, and they don't have food. And here you are in the West, where food is just pretty much abundant and everywhere. And you know what I mean? So when you fast, you have to get into that mode of, wow, like it's at first it's hard, because it's not that the food is not there, the food is there, but then you're now in a position where you're disciplining yourself not to have it. And that makes you contemplate and remember people who don't have food, perhaps the homeless. So before we even get into like the benefits relating to like the spiritual aspects, like the physical ones, are that the toxins from your body, this gives you a break from the constant eating and the energy that you're utilizing constantly to digest food, right? Because, you know, food is like fuel, okay? And a lot of the times, if we're eating foods that are processed, that have all kinds of chemicals, GMO, etc., this gives you a break from ingesting those things. Then it starts to cleanse. And like you say, the lemon and the water is very good for cleansing, okay? Then that energy now, you have to utilize in other ways. And you can use that energy to focus in terms of your mind. So you start to get clarity, yeah? Because that energy is now being utilized or transformed and utilized in a way to benefit you, okay? So you start to think and reason better. As I said it already, in terms of you're more quiet, because when you're hungry, generally people are more quiet. They don't talk so much because, you know, they're preserving that energy. And when you're quiet, you listen more, right? The other aspect of you, the conscious being, your higher self, is more in tune with you. Your vibration changes, your aura changes, you're more peaceful, because as I said, you start to really focus on the things that really matter, okay? When you say from a Wu-Sabat perspective, it's a good way to cleanse. Do you know that fasting can literally heal a lot of issues that people have? Because what happens is you build up a lot of mucus in your body when you're eating and eating and eating, and all of these pesticides and all the chemicals and the preservatives and the colorings and all these things, they start to leave your body, and eventually the mucus and the parasites that were feeding off of like the sugars and the salt, that they start to basically kill them and they die, and then you have to flush them out. And the drinking of water and going toilet flushes everything out. Your colon gets cleansed to the point where, you know, you're going to get to a point where there's nothing coming out because you're not eating. And so the water will help to flush and cleanse you, you see. And if you start to meditate, and in fact, if you exercise during that time, because some people feel that, you know, they're weak and they don't have energy to exercise, but after a few days, because the first few days are going to be hard because you're now having to utilize the power of your mind. Willpower gets stronger because now you're going to be like, you have to not give in. It's like when you start exercising and you may not have exercised for a long time, and you may just do a few, like you might go for a run and you feel like you hear your mind say you're tired, give up, but you carry on, and after a while the breathing improves, and then after a while, you know what I mean, you can go further and further. It's the same when you're doing press-ups or whatever, like you push yourself because it's now mental power. It's not based on physical. So when you're hearing the voices saying, man, look at that food looks so nice, I need to eat that, you just have to use your willpower to like be like, nah, we're doing this. And as the days go on, it gets easier and you start to get more energy from like not eating. It sounds crazy that people think you get energy from eating, but when you don't eat, that energy kicks in because you have reserves. Your body is designed to have reserves, so that as long as you can drink liquid, that, you know, people will tell you you can stay alive much longer as long as you have water than food. You see, there are people who have mastered it to the point where they've gone to such a high level where they can actually survive off air or the energy from the air, right? These people refer to themselves as breatharians. So they basically, because we know, when you think about eating, you're eating to break down the food, and a lot of people don't chew their food properly, but you have to break down the food into really liquid. And then that liquid is what you take out the nutrients from, and then the stuff that is not good, the liver will help to actually cleanse you out and, you know, get rid of the crap, and then you ultimately retain the nutrients or the vitamins, the minerals. So if you can get that from nature, because remember, you are part of nature, and plants, they don't go to the supermarkets to buy food and eat. They get their food from where? The sun. It's called photosynthesis, right? So you also get energy and vitality from the sun. If you're fortunate to be in a place where you can actually have access to, you know, good sunlight, so you can absorb that energy from the sun and from the water and from the source of what's inside the atoms, what's holding the atoms together, that energy. So it is possible to sustain yourself for a long time without eating food. So you get stronger mentally more than physically. But yeah, there are so many benefits to fasting, and don't obviously do everything in extreme, but it gives you time to actually, as you say, really tune in to your inner being and what's going on around you. So Henrique, we got, okay, yeah, let's go for it.
Rahibat Zamal, thank you again for another Q&A session. My question is, I was listening to the firmament video that you completed. Well, it was actually from a Q&A session, and a gentleman called in and asked about the firmament. And you mentioned that the rainbow was a reflection from the, not the mothership, but
Crystal City.
one of the spaceships. Well, I'm calling it the wrong name, but it was a reflection from that. Would you elaborate on that more? Because I see rainbows all the time. I think they're the most beautiful things. And of course, being a Christian, I'm looking at it as a sign, but now I understand further, thanks to Wu-Sabat. But is that from another part of the different higher elements or higher planes, and the reflection of what is beyond the several layers of clouds beyond. Thank you. Or tour.
Tour. Yeah, there's a recording that the master did a while ago. And let me see if I can find it. But he explained in that about the rainbow, because he was explaining that the covenant that was made with Noah, as is broken down in the Bible, it says that the world would no longer be destroyed by water, because obviously previously he the God of the Bible was using floods to renew or start all over again, when he was like, people have transgressed to a point where, you know, we need to start all over again. And so the covenant that was made was that the world would no longer be destroyed by fire, by water, but by fire. But when we're talking about that fire is the ball of the sun. But it was, I think the recording is Who Lived Before the Adam and Eve story on YouTube, if you can find that, where he says that a covenant was made, and that covenant was signified by putting a bow, right? And when you hear the word bow, you can hear the word rainbow. And that would to signify to people that the world would no longer be destroyed by flooding or by water, but by the sun. And now the sun that we're talking about is this new cycle known as the sun cycle, or the Aquarian age. And the beings that are transgressing on the planet, that have caused a lot of the chaos that we've now gone back and reached that point again, is the Adamites. And because of that, the new cycle has to be renewed, and they're being wiped out by way of the sun, right? Because they are, they don't produce melanin as much. So they get what they call lipoma, or Hansen's disease, which is really tied into the word Ham, or Ham's disease, which is Canaan, dealing with the Canaanites and the Canaanites. So this is what the rainbow. Now, when he said he will put that bow in the sky to remind and signify this, that bow is the crystal city. There are many crafts, right? Even though people are now starting to talk about extraterrestrial crafts, and they've seen crafts, and a lot of the aerodynamic crafts, we always have to emphasize, are made here from people that live here, as well as extraterrestrials that live here, because they have advanced technology. And a lot of these crafts are coming out of the ground, out of the seas, out of the inner world, the subterranean world known as Shambhala. But yes, so one of the crafts, there are many crafts that are in parts of the planet where they can hide, high above. And some crafts are so high and hidden that they're farming people, because this is also talking about the period where these Anunnaki, these beings, are taking food, all right, for their journey, because we're reaching a stage where we have to go through this process of change. So there are crafts like that crystal city is actually described in detail in the book of Revelation. So if you read the books of Revelation 21, right, chapter 21, it literally describes that craft. And so yeah, that's because of the crystal. It's like if you look at a prism and you look at when light goes through a prism, it splits into those various colors. And so when you look at a rainbow, you look at the colors that they go up, the 7 colors, which tie in to what people know as the 7 chakras. And so you go from the red all the way to the ultraviolet, right, or the purple. And when this ozone layer on the planet is being destroyed, right, this is what everyone's talking about, global warming. When it's being destroyed, it's allowing the ultraviolet rays of the sun to come through. And this is what is giving people skin cancer, where there's a big hole in Australia, and there's a big epidemic in terms of like I said, lipoma and people getting skin cancer. And now you hear most of the time when people die, you always hear a lot of the times it's something to do with cancer. And so, yeah, this is what's going on. But that craft is there to basically be a reminder of that covenant, to that, I mean, if I'm using the biblical terms anyway. But there is a recording, I was just trying to find it, of the master teacher who explains it better than anyone else can. And it's called, I think it's called Who Lived, I'm just going to try and find it.
The people before Adam?
The People Before Adam, or something like that, yeah. Listen to that. Yeah, I think it's that one. If it's not that one, if you just search, I'm doing it right now just so I can, yeah, The People Before Adam. And yeah, so I do hope that's answered your question. But if you can, call in live and we can elaborate further. There's always more. All right. We got any more? Okay, let's go back to the yeah, I'm gonna go videos. Yeah, yeah, The People Before Adam. Yeah, listen to that one. If I'm wrong, someone will correct me in the chat, or even in the Telegram group. Join the Telegram group and we will give you the correct information. But I'm pretty certain that's the one. All right. There's another one called, I think it's not called A Crash of Nibiru, but it talks about Nibiru and the crash and so on and so forth. All right, let me go back to the chat and see what other questions we have. So that was Henrique's question on fasting. All right, who's next? I think we've sorted out the mic because it was saying sometimes your mic is being, okay, so that's cool. And somebody requested a masterclass on 3D dimensional realm, and I covered that already. Okay, Pharaoh 818 in the house. Questions about the soul and the disagreeable 6 forces that want to steal it. What exactly can they do with it if they get it? It helps them to access higher realms, even though they can't go there, but it's like they will utilize it. They feed off of the energy, but they more utilize it to help them access higher realms. It's kind of like, yeah, if you think about it, like, let's say you've got a receiver or a device that can receive information. If you have one that only goes to a certain level or can only receive a certain amount, with the soul, they can actually go further or try to experience the things that only those with souls can experience. But not only that, the soul is like, it can be recycled. So if they stop you from being able to leave, it gets recycled and then let's put into, say, someone else, and that person, if they're ignorant of the truth, they're gonna go through their life doing the same ignorant things, being under the spell, which creates the energy that they feed off of they need to stay alive. You follow? So it's more like, if you, and this goes to all of us, if we learn and apply Wu-Sabat so we can transform ourselves to become supreme beings, then we leave and they can't keep utilizing you, so we move up. And that's the objective, because if you don't, what you do is you just come back. You just come back and go through the same process over and over and over again. yeah, until you burn out, because you're only given so many chances. So as you know, you have 24 to 24,000 cycles or chances. So if you don't make it and not come back, you dissipate. So they trick you into continuously repeating and repeating and repeating till you lose. It's almost like a battery that they can use until it actually completely dies. And at that point, it's no use, and they just dash it and move on to the next one. And if you are able to pass the test or transcend and go to the higher realms and not come back down, you're operating from a higher level, because you got to keep moving up and up and up to get to a point where you become a pure energy being that they cannot really control. And some of these beings are able to then come and go at will. You see, like the ethereal beings, like these are the highest supreme beings that you are one that has fallen from grace, or have come down here, and your whole purpose of being here is to master this realm and then go back. But what's happened is we've got caught up in the cycle of coming back over and over and over again, and that's designed to help burn you out to the point where if you don't make it, then that's it. You don't get to go on and experience other forms of existence in another realm as another being that you are without the skin suit. Yeah, I hope that helped. Right, next question. Okay. The next question is from Wise Words 671. Supreme 449, you're funny. Okay. Wise Words 671. Will Trump be taken out before 2028 election? I don't know, but we have to wait and see. We do have one who knows, but I think in order, we're not about, promoting violence or any of that stuff. But like I said, natural nature is doing its thing, and yeah, to know something is after it has happened, unless you can travel to the future and find out and come back. But I mean, if the master teacher, when we get that information, we will share it with you. But no, I don't know that at the moment. Okay, let's keep going. Rahubat from St. Lucia. Lady K in the house. Okay, people are saying this sounds much better. Great. Remember, you can call in live and ask a question. Number is +44753 996 3882. Okay, we've got a call. Let's go to the live caller. Rahubat, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please? Rahubat caller.
Hello.
Greetings.
How you doing, bro?
Doing my best. And how are you?
I'm trying my best,
Good.
But I just heard you refer to as the sun affecting the skin as glaucoma.
No, leproma.
Leproma.
Yeah, as in leprosy.
Okay. No, okay. I thought you said glaucoma, but
no.
Yes.
Leproma, yeah, which is leprosy.
Why does that happen? I mean,
it happens because melanin protects you from the sun in terms of the harmful rays of the sun. So if you don't have melanin or a lack of it, yeah, the epidermis is literally so thin that you're transparent. Why am I echoing back? I think you've got your phone or something that if you can just turn it down, because I'm echoing back from your phone. Okay, yeah. So that's what I was. It's yeah.
I'm not sure, but you're very, very low. I can hardly hear you.
Yeah, but I was getting an echo back from you. So that's normally when you have your speaker or your device is echoing the sound back. Okay, let's try again. Can you hear me now? I think
Yeah, that's much better. Because I don't have my devices on.
Okay, but did you hear what I was saying about the sun? Yeah, that's okay. All right, we're just gonna have to bear through the echo.
No, I don't have my devices on. I mean, YouTube is off.
No, it's the phone.
No, it's the phone. You're on the phone, right?
No, what it is, I'm on my laptop. Sorry.
Yeah, the speaker's coming out of. That's what is happening. It's looping.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
all right,
unless you got
listen,
headphones,
all
you
right,
can put your headphones on.
Sure. Now I know what the problem is. I can call more regularly.
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies. Okay.
That's all right. No worries.
Just to, I hear what you're saying about the.
Yeah.
What do you call it again? Yeah.
Leproma, which is dealing with leprosy, which is the fact that if you don't have melanin or you're melanin recessive, you're literally transparent. So the ultraviolet. Yeah.
Ask him to mute it.
Yeah. If you just mute your mic, it should be okay. Okay. No, it's not.
Listen, let me call you back on another device.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll carry on with the answer anyway, and then you can just listen in. All right. Okay. Thank you. Tautak. Yeah, it was asking a question about why people are affected by the sun. It's because the melanin is a protection. People have done research on melanin, and even rockets that are launched are coated with melanin because they can withstand high temperatures of heat, such as the rays we get from the sun. Even on a really hot day, you have to remember those rays are traveling like from 91 to 93 million miles away, and those rays reach the planet in like, I think it's like 6 seconds or 6 minutes. I can't remember the exact one, but it's a short space of time. And so you might imagine if you're close to the sun where it's very hot, it literally burns the skin and it burns through, and people can get what is called Hansen's disease, or as I said, leproma, which is another term that is used to describe leprosy. All right, and that's why sometimes it's not good. That's why you see people that go. Okay, greetings. You back, Rahul? Back?
Yeah, greetings, brother.
Oh, that's so much better. Yeah, I can hear you clearly, and I'm not echoing back.
My apologies, bro.
Yeah, so it's all good.
But now I am
good.
Echoing.
Are you?
Okay, but
we can't hear you.
Yeah, that's no. That's coming back to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I understood what you just said.
Tua.
About the diplomacy.
Yeah, that's why people, when they go on holiday, they use sunscreen, and they put the sunscreen to screen themselves from the sun. But people that are born in the sun that don't need sunscreen, sometimes they also start using sunscreen. But really, if you're children of the sun, you're melaninite children. There's a book we have called The Melaninite Children that goes into great detail about the subject of, melanin and the sun and who is affected and who is not affected. So that would be a great scroll to get hold of if you haven't read that before, from the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York. All right?
That's the melaninite
children.
Children?
Yeah.
But tell me, what does interbreeding do to the melanin?
It depends what you're interbreeding with. So
Well, another human being, supposedly.
yeah, but they're different types of human beings. Meaning, like, if you're melanin dominant person and you intermix with someone who lacks melanin or has a melanin recessive genetics, then your offspring is going to be weaker than if it was two melanin dominant people. So this is why, you know, you can see when people go from dark and they mix to light with a light person, and then that person, the light person, mix with another light person, and that light person mix with another light person, it's actually degrading or degenerating the melanin. So you're actually becoming weaker in terms of the melanin. But obviously, like, there's different reasons as well in terms of like what affects you in terms of because you're now kind of like two extremes. So people suffer from all kinds of things based on their
But in the so-called black community, you got like red skin and dark skin. For instance, I was looking on YouTube a few days ago. There's an individual. He says he's the darkest individual on the planet, but he has like Caucasian features.
Okay. I mean,
but he's very dark.
Okay, but what's the question? You're saying he's very dark, but I'm not getting the question.
No, I'm saying you're talking about, let's say, you. Yeah, because I mean, in the black community, you got red-skinned people. You know, for instance, in
yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
red-skinned people.
Those terms are not scientific terms, like black and red. Those are not scientific terms. I'm saying when you're dealing with genetics, if you study genetics and study hereditary and how offspring come about dealing with DNA, you will find out that it's really based on like dominant and recessive genes. So
yeah, I mean, you got Gregor Mendel, you know, who spoke about the recessive and the dominant gene.
Right,
huh?
Right. That's, yeah, Mendel, yeah. That's what I'm saying. He was one of the most famous and recognized geneticists that explained and broke down. And in fact, we have a book called The Man from Planet Risk that that goes into that as well. So it's a very clear science. However, just because of your skin color doesn't mean that the genetics in terms of, I'm saying complexion has a bearing, but actually is really more based on your DNA. So it's not about colorism either, because like you say, you can look at, like for example, you can look at the Sans people. You have both light and dark skin or complexion Sans people, but they have the genetics that everyone else on the planet, all the other races, borrow from. And it's not a matter of preferring dark-skinned people over light-skinned people. It's just, we're just talking about genetics in terms of dominant and recessive genes, or melanin dominant and melanin recessive genes. But a person can still be light and have strong DNA or genes. So it's not really just about the color, because there are other factors that also go into it. So it's not really about racism and discrimination of dark-skinned people and light-skinned people, but this is, you know, scientific facts when it comes to melanin, and the darker being melanin dominant, or they produce more melanin than those who don't. And that's why people in Africa or closer to the equator are generally darker, and they you know, they receive more energy from the sun, and they don't really get the disease. Whereas when you start to look at, so what I'm saying is, it's not just based on the complexion, because if you know the story of Ham, right, and his son Canaan, that's why it says cursed be Canaan, right? But in the old times, when people didn't really understand that, they looked at the word Ham, because the word Ham means black, and old time Christian groups used to say that black people were cursed and that's why they were black because of the word Ham.
Really?
Yeah, the Jehovah's Witnesses used to say this until it was discovered and broken down that the curse wasn't actually on Ham. It says curse be Canaan, and Canaan was his son. And as I said before,
But
that's why you get the word Hanson,
you
which
say
is
you
Ham's.
say Ham. Is that Ham or Kam?
Well, it comes from Ham, which is the real pronunciation, where you get the word Kemet from, and that Chem or Ham became Ham, yeah? And then Ham, which was one of the sons of Noah, his son, Canaan or Canaan, was the one that was cursed. This is why he moved into the mountains. His real name was Laban, right? And he went into like Europe into the mountains because the climate was more conducive for his melanin recessive skin and his eyes, and he couldn't take. It was an albino, in other words. An albino was finally yeah.
So
and from that albino,
so that was a
yeah,
that was a Dundus.
that's what we would term Dundus, yeah. So it's from him that you started to get. Then he got the curse of leprosy later on, which is a disease, and that's where the fact that he had to basically move away from hot climates and go into like Europe and the Caucasus Mountains. This is where you get the word Caucasus or Caucasus Asian or Caucasian, which comes from.
I don't mean to cut you there, but from what I gather about so-called Dundus or albinos, at birth they have to have a blood transfusion. Is that true?
No, that not just because they're an albino, but anybody may need blood at birth. But that's not just only to albinos or Dundus, which is a bit of I think an insulting word. But yeah, albino. Albinos.
Why is it insulting?
I mean, it's like calling somebody. Yeah, it's just how do I explain that one? It's like, you know the word Pakistan? Yeah, it's like half caste. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's so even when you call people pygmies, for example, the word pygmy is an insult, but it's referring to those Pataites, the small people that were originating on the planet first, who became those, like I said, those sans people that everyone gets their traits from. You see, so, but yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Can I just cut you there?
Sure.
I used to go to school. I used to go to school with a Pakistani brother who was very muscular, very large, but he used to refer to himself as a Paki. And I used to think, why are you saying that, brother? That's such an insulting term. Yeah. And this was at a time when there was racism all over the place, But he said he calls himself that, so when people call him that, he doesn't feel.
Yeah, I mean, I get the point. It's just like the N-word that people called us. People owned it and started using it. This is why, a lot of rappers use it until this day. People say you shouldn't because it was a derogatory term used by like the slave masters or whatever, right? But people say they're owning it now. It's like even the word Africa or African. People use that term in a proud way, but really it was derived from a word that was used to separate you and, to divide you. And that's what it means, to divide, from the word faraka.
What was that word?
Faraka or Afrikia, yeah? From the Arab word, from the Arabic. So there are different stories regarding.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
To divide or to divide. Faraka. Or,
Afrikia?
Yeah. To divide, which is what they did to the continent and divided it up into different countries and made people think that they were different from each other, but they are the same people who share the same DNA. And then the Berlin Conference was used to divide it up based on the resources, that different Europeans decided to award or give each other, like the gold, the platinum. There's actually a map. You can Google this. There's a map. If you Google the map, the Berlin Conference and how Africa was divided, you see how like they divided it up, and that the Berlin Conference of 1884, and I'm trying to see if I can find something dividing.
Who orchestrated the Berlin Conference?
Pardon?
Who orchestrated the Berlin Conference?
Okay, let me just see if I can find it. The Berlin Conference of 1884, divide. Let me just see Africa map. This is something that is very well. There you go. Like if you look at, I just literally I googled YouTube. I should have been googling Google itself. But let me just go to Google. Okay, there you go. I've just Googled it. So if you just Google anything, Berlin Conference 1884, divide Africa, there's a map that shows you France, Britain. It was really Belgium, Portugal, Germany, and it just shows you all the different parts. There are different maps that let me show you another one that actually show you, like, for example, the one I'm looking at is Africa, Unequal Global Power Relations, Legacy of Berlin. And it shows you where the gold, the platinum, the crude oil, the iron, the cotton, how it was all chopped up and divided. But we're digressing from the original point, which is that, yeah, the word Africa means to divide. And that's how they divided Africa from, its original name was Tamaray. And but because people today call themselves Africans, because that's the term that has been popularized, but we're really Nuwapians or Tamarayans, but these are the terms that you have to learn once your eyes are open and you start to study Wu-Sabat. All right?
Wow. There's so much more questions I could ask you, but thank you
Yeah.
very much for your time.
No
okay?
problem. You can always call back in again, just to give other people a chance to call in and ask questions, but I'm gonna answer the ones in the chat until we get another call. But appreciate your call. Yeah, keep calling in.
Respect.
Okay. Okay. So Leonard Richardson said, "Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance because we got interrupted. To thank you for your donation. Every little helps, and every donation is appreciated, loved. So yeah, thanks for that, Leonard. But you say, Richardson, Maryland, thank you very much for allowing me to understand what's important. Okay, no problem. Naut Shakal, no problem. Okay, this is Gen 7130, August the 2nd, 2027. Will the world go dark for 6 minutes? Black moon is a portal. It's a portal, not a solar eclipse, to the Golden Gate. Where are you getting that information from? Because people say all kinds of things and mention all kinds of stuff, but what's the source of the information? I don't know where you're getting that information from, but we have already broken down and given you information regarding what's going on and what's going to take place between now and we've gone even as far as 2030, 31, 32, and a lot is going to take place and happen. And this is why we have to unite and come together and change the fate of this planet. Who created the Anunnaki? April Ross, 251. You see, the Anunnaki is a description of an incident that took place. Yeah? There are different species of Anunnaki, or what people are calling Anunnaki. Right? The term just literally means the beings Anu sent to Ki, or the planet. Okay? We have another caller, so I'm interrupting and taking that. Greetings, Rahubat, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question, please? Caller, Rahubat, greetings.
Rahubat, second.
Rahubat.
Yes, I have a
My name is Gary. I'm from.
You're breaking up. I know I heard Gary, but I didn't hear the rest.
Yeah, from Montreal, Canada.
Okay, Rahubat, go ahead.
Yes. No, a guy that name.
Yeah, you're very
Mesmer.
choppy.
Oh.
Try again.
Do you know a guy? Mesmer.
Do I know a guy? You're choppy, very choppy. Send a voice note or type it in the chat because you're very choppy. We can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Who created the Anunnaki? Yeah, I was saying that the Anunnaki is a makeup of many different beings or different species of beings, the Anakites. You got the Shamgal, you got the Anunnaki, they're different species. It's like, okay, when you say who created them, they're like, they're people like we are, but they're just people that are more advanced, that originated from different star systems. There are literally thousands of species of different extraterrestrial beings, and they look differently because the environment in which they originate from is completely different to our star system or our solar system. So if you're in a planet that has, let's say, 5 suns, right? We have one central sun that our planet is rotating around or is pulling with this magnetic force, right? In other star systems, if you just have to look up in the star, look at star maps, you see there are different constellations configured differently with different amount of suns, so that the climate and the environment is different. So beings will come out green or come out blue or come out with different type of physiology and development. And so there are different types of beings from different places. The Anunnaki are, if you go back, okay, let's look at it like this. On the planet, you have many different people and different species, which all come from 3 main root races. The first being what we said before, the Africans, or we know, or we say, we are the descendants of the original beings that came to this planet, that seeded this planet. We refer to as the Natharu, okay, who come from Orion and Sirius. This is where they're mainly from, and we are those children as Africans. And then from us, everyone else on the planet comes from. But some beings are hybrids, or, you know, they're made up, but they still need the material, right, in terms of genetics, to produce that. A good analogy would be, you have different fruits on the planet, different species of fruits. Like, let's say, take one, a banana. You have original bananas, and now you got bananas that take the DNA of the original banana to create a genetically modified one, GMO. So now, if you've never seen an original banana before, right, so you could be born today and you grow up and the bananas you see are those big ones you see in the supermarkets. To you, you've never seen an original banana. So you're going to just call the GMO one a banana. When you look at the species on the planet, the original root race is the African, the Homo naledi, if we're going to use scientific terms by anthropologists, right? Homo naledi or the Homo habilis. From that, right, the second root race, the Asians, the brother that called before, he used the term black, and we started to explain that black and red, these are not the scientific terms. But if you wanted to use the term black, that will be referring to the Asiatic black man, or the Asians, or the East African, stemming from the Hindu beings, who are like dark as well, right? And they're dark, but they have a different trait, which is we have hair and they have 6 ether fur, right? That's the Asian, which will be the second root race. And they're referred to scientifically, but like by way of anthropologists, as the Denisovan and the Homo florensis. So that's who they are. Then you have the third root race being the Neanderthal or the Cro-Magnon, which were they were replaced by the Basque. That's the Caucasian. Now, those three root races also mix with each other, right, to produce offspring. So we were saying before, say an African might mix with a Caucasian and have offspring, which is going to be lighter, right? But they still contain the genetic material of those two root races. Then you start to have extraterrestrials that have come to this planet, live on this planet, have been here for millions of years, some before even the hominid or the humanoid like us came about. And these are like sea creatures, different types of beings that evolved with the development or the evolution of the planet before there were even humans on here. So you had, you know, dinosaurs and all types of other forms of beings. Okay, so today you got these extraterrestrials mixed with humans and have offspring as well. So there are many extraterrestrial children on the planet because these extraterrestrials have the same amount of chromosomes. Because when you look at genetics and mixing and producing things, you have to match the DNA of, they have to be compatible, in other words. When they're not compatible, the offspring has slightly different features, etc. Like, for example, you have beings that came from Jomo, right, known as the Teros, okay? And these beings, they had 48 chromosomes. They mixed with humans who have 46 chromosomes, and they produced offspring that have 47 chromosomes, and that became known as Down syndrome. So when you look at a person that has Down syndrome, they have the same epiphode in terms of the eyes. They have, you know what I mean, the same features. Doesn't matter whether they're black, white, green, etc., etc. So when we talk about the Anunnaki, we're just talking about an incident where a being, the most powerful being that was ruling on their planet craft known as Nibiru, was known as Anu. But Anu is a title that they hold, just like you have on this planet, the person that holds the highest seat may be referred to as a prime minister or a king or an emperor or a president. So there were different people that held the position of Anu. But this ninth Anu, the one that most people talk about, who had two sons, Enlil and Enki, we've done a video on the Anunnaki and the biblical interpretations. It's just a long video that goes into great detail about who the Anunnaki are. They had offspring, who gave birth to who, and we give you the entire kind of genealogy of the Anunnaki. But the ninth Anu had two sons, Enlil and Enki, had other children too. But they are the ones that came to the planet and grafted a being to help them do the work of mining the gold that they were looking for and came here. But we were already here and we were already developing. And what they did, they took the Pataites, right? And they mixed their genes and their DNA and they messed around with the chromosomes and maimed you to basically be it was like they're trying to develop a species, or it's like today, right? Man is trying to develop robots to do the work, right? But these robots are now being injected with AI, artificial intelligence. Eventually, they look robotic and they've got mechanical parts. But as time progresses and technology advances, these parts are going to become organic, and they're going to then give them a skin suit, okay? Because at the moment, they're still moving very stiff and robotic, and they're still trying to figure it out. But the minute they do, they're going to be able to move and act, and you won't be able to notice the difference. There are already people on the planet that are hybrids, which are known as cyborgs, right? A cyborg is when you're mixing, you know, robotic parts. Because now, even today on the news, I heard, right, they've developed using AI technology that's allowing blind people to now see by putting a chip, and the chip basically gives them the ability to see. So I'm showing you that just give it a few more years, the technology with the aid of AI is going to be so advanced that robots are going to be, they already showed you this in a movie called Ex Machina, right? If you haven't seen that, watch that. But I'm just saying that when we're talking about Anunnaki, we have to be clear that there's literally thousands of species, and they have children, they multiply, they give birth just like we do on the planet, all right? I spent a lot of time on that because this Anunnaki frenzy that people are talking about, we were talking and breaking down Anunnaki before it became fashionable, before everyone was talking about Anunnaki. So like we've got so much, the Holy Tablets goes into great detail about the Anunnaki, the Master Secret. Let me find the actual titles. Sometimes I'll be saying the titles but not giving you the full title. So let me tell you what it's called. And look out for the video on OSM Vision already called the Anunnaki. Maybe we can find it and post it in the chat as well. But yeah, so let me just find that for you. So if you go to nishat.co.uk, search, come on, it's loading up, it's just a bit, okay, there we go. And you search, just search Anunnaki, see what comes up. Oh, here we go. We're live. So we do this in real time, you know, so live TV. Let me see if I can find it. There you go. It's called, I just had it and then now. It's called, it's called Pa Anunnaki and the Biblical Quranic Race. Okay? Pa Anunnaki, Pa in our language means the, so it's called Pa Anunnaki and the Biblical and Quranic Race. It's a Master Secret, series number 50. Yeah? Search that and read that. It gives you the whole genealogy of the Anunnaki. All right, let's go back to the questions. Okay, can we go into detail about pork? I'm telling my homie, he is moving like a Canaanite cannibal. Yeah, see that word cannibal, it ties into Baal, as you say, and that's the name of Enlil, okay, of the two sons of Anu, Enki, and Enlil. In the Bible, you won't see it because you have to go into the language and go into the translation. Pork, Jesus didn't eat pork. Pork, or we say pork, but really we're talking about the pig. We actually have a book called The Pig, and the pig is a derivative of the hog. The hog was a hybrid that was produced using a cat, a rat, and a dog. That's what you're calling the pig today. And geneticists back then, in terms of our ancestors in ancient Egypt, known as Imhotep, or people say Imhotep, and Zoser, was scientists that created this being to go and clean up the filth when Abraham went into the Caucasus Mountains. And because the beings there were barbaric, uncivilized, they were walking on all fours, they were eating flesh, they were practicing bestiality, they were basically very unclean. And so they were to be cleaned, and they suffered from leprosy and all of that, which I mentioned previously. So the pig was designed to be like what we would call a modern day Hoover, to clean up and eat. Basically, it doesn't, it chooses curd. So it eats and then regurgitates it, and so it's not a healthy thing to eat because of the combination of it being a rat, a cat, and a dog. And these different natures were used because the cat is wise, is smart, is very, intelligent. Then you have the canine, which is very aggressive, and then you got the rodent or the rat. So they use genetics to put it together to come up with the right formula that will do the job. The same thing the Anunnaki did when they were trying to create this primitive worker, which was in their language is referred to as the Lulu Amilu. They had to do the same thing. They had to teach it how to use tools. And then, they tried many experiments to get it to be able to work and mine the gold. So when you're dealing with, and today scientists are doing the same thing, having deciphered the human genome through that project, they call it designer babies now. They can literally tell you what the intelligence or the color of the eyes, or you can literally create. We have a master secret right here called the designer genes, which goes into that. I've got so many questions to get through, so let me try and keep the answers short. But yeah, the pig is not something, it's got something called a trochterous worm, which can not really die, even like with extreme high temperature, heat, it won't die. So when you look at, that's why we say it's good to cleanse properly. We've got a caller, so I'm gonna take that and then we'll get back to the questions. Rahubat caller, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Calling from South Carolina in the U.S.
Rahubat.
Yeah, I was calling because before I was looking at an old interview of Dr. Malachi Z. York.
Yeah.
And he said that he wanted to teach us how to teleport and how to levitate.
Tua.
Are you able to teach us these things, even though he's not able to teach us it right now?
I mean, this is why we keep telling people that you got to be on the inside and be a part of the orders, because certain information and certain things are not just taught publicly. Just like in ancient times, you had to go through mystery schools to be given the secrets, because you have to prove yourself worthy and not somebody that is irresponsible or that would abuse your power once you're given that. And he is teaching us these things, and has, made it very clear that, you have to master the basics as well, like the information. But yeah, this is something he's teaching us and will teach us even more once he's out. He's talked about teleportation, levitation, and many things that he teaches us through the sacred schools. But yeah, you have to prove yourself and be just like Jesus said, you can't take pearls and throw them to swine. And great power
Correct.
comes with great responsibility. This is why you have to definitely be someone who, and you prove yourself worthy by doing the works. And that's what I can say to you on that for now.
Okay.
So get into the
But
community.
yeah, I appreciate everything that y'all been doing. I've been learning a lot, and then I've been watching since y'all posted the first video. When it was you and the other brother, and y'all was talking about Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It was called God, Numbers, and the Universe Explained. That was the video, and it's on OSM Vision. And we appreciate, love you for sticking with us. We're getting some interference. Yeah, we appreciate, love you for sticking with us, and those that have been loyal and have been studying, because this is how you learn. And reading the scrolls, supporting the cause, sharing, subscribing, helping with the legal, so we can get the master home, so we can learn a lot more of what he still has to give us. All right, Tawu.
All right, so.
All right, let's keep going. Okay, Rahubat. This is from Supreme 4490. Rahubat Saken, if the all is mind and the universe is entirely mental, how can a 9 ether soul person utilize his mental realm versus a 6 ether soul if they are both tied into the same mental plane? Now let me clarify that, because that kind of sounds a little bit confusing. The all is you said if the all is mind, the all is all. Mind is mind. Mind is within the all as a part of the all. I'm trying to make this so that it's not confusing, because when you're a part of something, you are that thing, but you're not the entire thing. Okay, so for example, a drop of water is still water, but you got water that's in the ocean, which is different or bigger than the water in the cup or the water that is a drop from the ocean. It's still water. It can still say, I am water. And the ocean can still say, I am water. And they're still connected to each other because they have the same vibration and same properties, okay? So mental is a part of the all, because you have the mental realm. And the mental realm has density or variations or levels, and different people can connect to the mental realm or the mental reservoir, which is like, I use this analogy all the time to make it clear. It's like having a device, right? Whether it's a laptop or a tablet, a computer or cell phone, mobile phone. And this has a part within it which has memory, and it can store information locally, but that memory is limited, but it can connect as it's connecting to the network, as in the World Wide Web, for example. And the World Wide Web itself has many different servers that you can connect to get even more storage, external storage, excuse me. So even within your laptop, your computer, you have memory, but you can get an external hard drive and add more storage. You can have a terabyte, you can have, 5 different drives if you like. Okay, so the mind is like your portion that you have to store the information, but you can also pull more from the mental reservoir. And the mental reservoir, as I said, has different layers. And with a computer network, you can give people access or restrict people to a certain area. Like if you're in a workplace, you might have a computer and then you might have a drive that is partitioned and shared for your team. So you might have a finance drive or, personnel or whatever, and you have access to that. But there is a bigger pool of space that is divided and given to other departments. So your ability to access the higher levels or realms of the mind is based on your capacity and the ability to reach its highest potential. Some beings only have a small amount of, let's use the analogy, hard drive space. Like for example, the Adamites, the male, they only have the capacity of a 13-year-old when you're dealing with brain and access to information. So going back to the question, if the all is mind and the universe is entirely mental, the universe is mental. Everything is mental because your mind is what you use to connect to the higher realm. So you have the mental realm, but you also have realms that are higher, like the etheric realms that are higher than the mental. You have the soul realm, which is under the realm of mental. So when you say how can a 9 ether soul being, and not everyone has a soul, okay? Or some people have a soul, but it's not utilized or it's not activated, right? Or it's dim, or it needs to be jump started. It's like you have a car, you have a battery. The battery can be dead, or it can just about have enough juice. And sometimes you may have to jump start the battery for the car to start. So 9 ether soul person utilizes his mental, and he can access higher levels of mental, and he can access all the way to the ethers if he is activated. A 6 ether being, not all 6 ether beings have souls, and you can drop from 9 to 6 and even below. This is why we break down the different parts of you from a supreme being, which is the highest, all the way down to what people say, I'm a human being, I'm a man, and you know, tying into being a mammal, going down to being a beast. You can be a demon, you can go down lower depending on your vibration and your actions, right? Because people say, well, what's the difference? Because you can look at 10 people and go, they're all human beings. But the mental capacity, the behavior, the intelligence, or the intel in their genetics is going to determine the way they behave. So people who behave in a beast-like manner are not going to be using their intelligence at a higher level. So if you said 6 ether soul, if they're both tied into the same mental plane, yeah. So not all people have souls. So you can have a spirit, which is what you're talking about when you're saying lower ether beings. They have spirit, but they don't have a soul. A spirit is what animates you and keeps you alive. And even within these different realms, like for example, the spirit realm, or shall I say, you have things that are alive, but they don't have a soul. You know, I'll give examples such as rocks, trees, animals. They have spirits, but they don't have soul. But people mistake and interchange soul and spirit. Okay, so to answer your question, everyone's at different levels mentally, and they can only access certain parts mentally. Not everyone has a soul. You need a soul to access the higher realms. So we can all have access to the mental reservoir, but at different levels, or we can only get so much from it, because the container has to be able to hold, you know, it's like if your hard drive is full, it's full. You can't put anything more. So the bigger your hard drive, the bigger your ability or capacity to reach the levels. We did a video on this as well. So most of this information we've already done videos on, all right? So that's for Supreme 4490. I hope that helps. Maria in the house, right back. How do I reprogram my DNA? Is there a scroll on how to do this? Yeah, all the scrolls we speak about, especially the Pataraks, the Master Secrets, and the Actual Facts, this is what you're doing, because your DNA is really based on what you do, how you think, how you reason, how, you know, what you put into your body. This is why diet, all the things we always speak about, mindfulness, meditation, relaxation, cleansing yourself inside out, all of these things help to reprogram you. But the main one is your reasoning. That's why there are different levels to Wu-Sabat in terms of wu-nuwapu or wu-nuwapu. You have nabanupu, asunupu, and these are different aspects of wu-nuwapu, okay, which we say Wu-Sabat, which is the culture. So by practicing the culture and living the culture and putting the work in terms of what the culture is teaching you, you're going to reprogram yourself. It's literally like changing your mind or changing your habits, okay? So Wu-Sabat is the way to reprogram your DNA, because you can start living in a particular way that's different to how you've been living up until now. The things you're subjecting yourself to, because we are electromagnetic. We're able to pick up, we're waves basically, waveforms, energy, vibration, and you're porous. So you're literally not solid. So any frequency can actually have an effect on you. So the music you listen to, the clothes you wear, the places you are, the noises that you're around, they all have an effect. Especially like exchanging fluids with other people. You have beings that are vibrated on different realms that you can't see, but they're there and they have an effect on you. You have the full electromagnetic spectrum that has an effect on you. So, it's all about putting Wu-Sabat into practice. Bruce Garnois, isn't it ironic Dr. Sebi's name sounds like it's short for Sabine? You know what? Words and language, they do relate. Words have root words that other words come from, and names and titles relate to those words. I mean, for example, Halloween's coming up. Everyone's going to be doing and following a pagan holiday, but the word Halloween actually comes from Samhain, and the word Samantha comes from the word Sam, and you get Uncle Sam. So yeah, we always explain about the spell that is through spellings of words, and so you have to study etymology, and you will see that words have a root that other words are then taken from, and names are taken from. That's why I gave you the example about Samantha and coming from Samhain, and then it becomes Uncle Sam or Sam, Samuel, etc. Right? So yeah, it's no coincidence. Okay, I'm gonna skip your question for a moment, Pharaoh, because in fact we got a video coming out for you soon that addresses your question. I'll read it, but because you ask a lot of questions and I want other people to get a chance as well. But it's good, you're studying and learning, so it's all good. But I just want to make sure I get through a lot of questions, all right? But your question is, can we have a breakdown on the Larians and the war with the Draconians? Because I loved Thundercats as a child. I thought I was Liano, and I know it has a deeper meaning. Okay, yeah, they tell you a lot of stories in cartoons way back when you were a child, because the programming actually starts from when you're a child, and they always, any spell or anything they applying to the adults, they do it for the children in a more palatable way, so they will give you cartoons and have cute characters, but you look at the characters and look at what's going on, Ninja Turtles and all kinds of characters, there is a story behind it, but they just make it palatable for the children. But I want to answer Maria, in terms of throwback genes, is it that the furthest they can come from is the 4th generation going backwards? No, it's not the furthest they can come from, it's that Mendel, who was the greatest European, we give you names of people that you can go and look up, because a lot of the times the master teacher will give us information, but people without trusting or have doubts or whatever, they need to go and confirm it from the European or from the Adamites. And so Mendel, he studied genetics, and through the study he was able to say that the most likely occurrence is in the 4th generation. That's why the 4th generation is used, because you have to go back like 100 years. You have to go back, and when you do studies, you see there's a cycle of when things happen, and so those genes are more likely to show up in the 4th generation, and that's why it's not that you don't inherit, you know, yeah, but the throwback ones, yes, but you still have other genes that go back past the fourth generation, going backwards. But it's just that the fourth generation is where the throwback normally will occur from experimentation and evidence. Kush. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Is it Abana 3? Yeah, Rahubat. But we've got Kush Up V. Any way to contact join communities in text? Yeah. We'll post the links, but there's a join us link on all our websites. So that's I'm gonna send you a link again now. Real time. So, but yeah, join the Telegram group. It's been posted in the chat, and that would be a good step to contact and link with us. But I've also posted the link in the chat. Just hook yourself up to OSM Vision. I want to give appreciate love to iKiss Legend 8716 for your donation. Greetings again. I'm a long-time supporter of OSM. I asked months ago about purchasing merchandise on your live. You hooked me up with OSM. We spoke. Oh, yeah. I do remember. Yeah, thanks for your support. And keep studying. And the merch is very good. Oh, also, I did mention Leonard already. The merch, you know, sometimes all you have to do is wear something. And why is this meant to be? Okay. Wear something and people see it, be like, wow, where did you get that from? And it strikes a conversation, you know. It's an icebreaker. They might say, oh, why are you wearing that symbol? Or, do you know what I mean? Like, what is the ankh? Tui. And then that's how you start to share Wu-Sabat. Live caller, what's your name, where you're calling from, and what's your question, please? Rahubat.
Yes, Rahubat.
Rahubat.
Yeah, how you doing, Sir Ken?
Doing my best, Zamal. Wu Antak?
Oh, Zamal Tad. Yes. I'm happy to see you, brother. You're my brother.
Tua.
Yeah. So
Anuki.
I'm back. I came back from Afafare Ka'au, and I had the best trip.
Wow, that's good.
You know, it was such a beautiful experience for me, seeing with your own two eyes with things, what's going on somewhere, instead of, you know, I love watching YouTube, but experiencing it, it's.
Is that your first time?
Much different.
Where did you go?
Yes, my first time to camp.
Oh, wow.
I visited Uganda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Uganda is like way different than where I'm from, New York. I grew up in Brooklyn. No, not as much concrete, not as much cars.
Yeah. Yeah, New York's what does Alicia Keys says? Concrete jungle. Yeah, and when you go to New York, it's just skyscrapers everywhere. You hardly even see the sky.
No. Exactly. Nowhere to ground. I actually was grounding my feet in the soil.
Yeah.
And I could feel that energy of Mother Nature. So
Tour.
It's 100% correct. I had to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a question, or you just wanted to share and tease us?
Well, I did say I'm back. No, I'm not gonna tease this again.
I'm joking. Go ahead.
But I don't really. Yeah, pretty much. What do you feel like that? You know, journey was significant for me. Like, what? I just had a good, you know, experience. I want to know, like, what do you think about it? Because I met someone that, and I have plans for the future. So I'm very bright right now. It's like I'm very motivated for the future.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like experience, as you said, visiting and not having someone else try to tell you. I mean, evidence and reason is good, but experience. You got some background noise.
Um, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm at a
Okay, it's gone
little
now anyway.
restaurant, but
Yeah.
hopefully that music doesn't bother you.
Yeah, so I was saying having the experience is great, and touching base and connecting with Mother Nature is great, and like you know, you can start to connect and have that vibration, and touching down, you know, you reconnect with your ancestors as well. So you got to just
yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, again. Was that? I was thinking that the flight takes a long time too, from New York to Africa. You know, it's like 2 days in the air. I was in there.
Yeah, they do that
flight.
with the flight routes to make it difficult and for people to not want to go back, to be honest, because when you look at the map and look at the journey, the trajectory that they could go to arrive, it's all business, it's all done to deter people, to make the prices of the tickets a lot higher, and to encourage you to not go back and to go to Europe or go to just stay in the West. But
They say jet fuel's expensive, bro.
Yeah.
But they gonna make a long trip on purpose. Yeah, we gonna waste your fuel, so you gotta pay us extra.
That's right. But if you draw a straight line between 2 points, you will see the quickest way to travel, instead of going all around to get to the same place that you could have just gone in a straight line.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. So is that leads to a question. So is that true? Is it possible to go to Africa through the Grand Canyon? So you just walk through?
Yeah,
on foot.
I'm telling you, man. Like, I don't know about just walk through, but maybe so. I'm not going to speculate, but there are places that, if you look at the map, I mean, if you are in a place in Europe called, say, for example, in Portugal, it's literally it's like a river across, and then you're in Africa, and you can actually look on the maps and see, how the quickest route to get to Africa. So, but again, it's about working together and moving in a particular way so that it's easier and you can actually make it together and much cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that's the answer is yes then.
Yes, there is. There is much faster and quick ways. Yeah. Do you know there are tunnels that connect even with certain cases? I don't want to say the person's name, but recently they were telling you about the tunnels, underground tunnels that connect, and you can have all these types of technology in terms of the shuttles.
Right. I learned about tunnels. Even Elon Musk has this tube thing, it's no friction.
Exactly.
They're gonna try to come out with.
Yeah, exactly. So you can go from, say, London to New York underground quickly, and these are things that the master was breaking down in the books like The Man from Planet Risk a long time ago. And now these tunnels are becoming more exposed, especially in America, like you say, with some of the projects that Elon Musk is doing, and celebrities, they go through these tunnels to avoid traffic. So the privileged and rich and famous, they have all types of things that they are fortunate and given access to that most people don't know about.
Right. They got access to it first, and then probably we get it like 20 years later, 50 years later. When they have it already, I understand that by reading Baba's books, because it tells you that underground systems is already there. That's more advanced than what's in the top level. So that makes sense.
Yeah, brother, I know you're excited from coming from Africa, but we got so many people where they're probably going, get off the line, I need to get my question answered. But yeah, in a loving way. But we appreciate you, and good to hear that you had a good trip. But I'm gonna leave it with you so I can answer a lot more questions. I can see my brothers Sakam is answering questions as well to help me out. So appreciate love you, man.
All right.
Take care.
Appreciate love. We'll have a one-to-one. Let me know when you have a one-to-one. So
Yeah.
I'll write down 3 more questions.
No problem.
Because it's a lot more stuff that I got. Don't worry.
Ahros. Take care. Okay, where were we? Beings that herd us to eat our flesh as food, can they eat something non-flesh like plants in order to stay alive? Yes, some can, but they prefer meat. Just like a lot of humans prefer to eat chicken and lambs and you can eat veg. You can be a vegetarian, you can be a vegan, but people prefer to eat steak and eat because they've been programmed and they've been doing it for such a long time that now it's like hard for them to stop. It's become common nature for them, but it's about preference. Not all extraterrestrials do eat meat though, because some of them don't even have a digestive system. Like some of the greys, they absorb energy and they sit in vats and absorb liquids through their skin. So there are different types of beings with different, physiology and anatomy that is different to humans, and they don't all need the same source of food. All right. That was for you, Maria. Okay. Yeah, I can see Sakam's already answered some of the questions about soul, solar, sun. Yeah, because it's energy. You're saying, what does the soul and spirit look like? They're different energy. And yeah, see, Sakam's answered a lot of those questions already. So let me skip to can we get Hayamithwo on the show? Do you know who that is? All right, we'll look into it. But yeah, we do say anyone can do a one-to-one. So if you have contact with them, you can probably reach out to them, let them know, send them the link if you would like to have the one-to-one, and then we'll take it from there. But we'll do our best. Argil Banner 3, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, but you say, my question, do you know the name of the 3 green light beings that dropped me off into this flesh in 1976? Mel Chizu can answer this for me. Your personal experience about these beings, that's your experience. I can't tell you who the beings were. You'll have to have that conversation. Did you not ask them? I can't speak on an experience that you had. That's your experience. So, but yeah, if Melchizedek or Parnabab Yanun, if you ever get the opportunity to ask him, he may be able to give you or shed some light on that. But yeah, I wasn't there. I don't know what these 3 green light beings. We do know that Melchizedek is a green light being. He's the green one. But I can't then speculate to say he had anything to do with your experience. So that's something you would have to hold on until the time you have the opportunity to ask. Okay. Muthahu 24. That's not a question. I really, don't. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that one. DT Bart, my wife cheated on me. Can I divorce her and remarry? It depends on what culture you're practicing or what culture you're with, and different cultures have different rules and regulations of, marriages and so forth. If you're in Wu-Sabat, then we have the rules in our 33 commandments. Okay, you can read that if you are Nuwapian, but we can't just come in and that's a personal situation. So yeah, I don't know the circumstances or anything. We're not going to give you personal advice based on that question. But just to give you a little bit in Wu-Sabat, divorce is not something that is taken lightly. But yeah, we have our commandments, we do have our culture in terms of what we do. And under the right circumstances, if it's inevitable that nothing can be done to solve the issues, then there are certain reasons where, yeah, one can divorce and remarry. But again, you know, that's a personal situation. It's a one-sided view because obviously both sides, the accounts would have to be taken into what took place and so on and so forth. But within our culture, we would have elders and the process that we go through to deal with such situations. All right, let me keep going. Sons of the Green Light, Cosmosans, yeah, that's Sons of the Green Light was one of the orders. Okay, it's not a question, so let me keep going. Marathon Mia 9625. Why are we going through the same repetitive things each day, such as working hard to pay bills? What is our actual purpose here? You're saying we, not everybody is doing that. And you have the choice to make a decision to change your conditions and to create the reality that you would like to have. So not everybody is doing what you just said. That is something that the majority or a lot of people are doing because they feel or don't have the confidence, or they are fearful of letting go of things that they have been doing for so long. The fear of not being able to provide for yourself, not being able to be self-reliant, makes people just do things they don't actually want to do. But this is where, you know, working with people and speaking to people that have done what you're trying to do would help you. It's about, what do you have to offer? What is your purpose? Because when you're saying what is our actual purpose, you have to start with yourself first. And your purpose is to discover your highest potential. And you're not going to know and discover your highest potential without studying and reading. And this is why we have scrolls like this, Your Potential, which helps you to recognize what your potential really is. And then with the skills and the knowledge, you will be able to apply that to change your circumstances and to change your reality. So it is down to you. If you don't want to repeat the same thing every day, such as working and paying bills, you have to figure out, how do you become a boss? How do you become your own employer? And then what purpose or what passion do you have to help humanity? See, these are the things, the questions that you have to answer, but Wu-Sabat will certainly help you make those decisions. Right, we've got another caller. Greetings, caller. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question? Rahul back. Okay, we just lost. All right, we'll wait till you call back.
No, he's there.
Oh, Rahul back, caller. Greetings. Rahul.
I've got a question from the Holy Tabernacle Family Guide.
Torah.
So on page 88, I'll just read a little bit of it. It says, don't deprive your children of joining teams or any constructive and clean recreation. Respect the American flag, and regardless of what religion or community flag we may fly, the American flag should fly above it and to the left. And then it goes on a little bit more. In the case of multiple flags, the American flag should be the center.
Yeah.
You should purchase a book, etc., around the American flag. My question is just, why is there such emphasis at this point in the family guide around the American flag?
Okay. The Family Guide came out a very long time ago, during, as you say, when we were going through the school of the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, and the main word to take away from that is a guide. So when you're given guides or guidelines, it doesn't mean you have to do it. It's a guideline, yeah. And but remember that, and it's addressing American citizens or the community that was in America, because obviously the master teacher is very like we don't break the law of the land, the land you're in, right? So that's something like he didn't encourage or support anybody that carried out any sort of like criminal activities or breaking the law or anything like that, because although we our own code, we had our own culture, we're indigenous even to not just to America but to the planet, because we have been subjugated and we were under, do you know what I mean, like until we were able to even now, like, because our land has been stolen, as you know, that's why today we have like the 33 commandments of the Sabians or the revelations to the Sabians. It's like we have our culture, we do our own thing in the sense of our culture, but we do not break laws and carry out criminal activities. And if you are under, you know, this is why even now, with all that's going on with racism and the whole talk about immigrants and so on and so forth, they're introducing things like, you know, you have to learn the language and you have to integrate yourself with the society, etc., etc. So that was guidelines to let people know that just because we have our culture and whatever, we were still actually living in the West.
Yeah.
So it's like how you would, and what he was very
to keep us like on the straight.
Yeah,
and
keep you
narrow,
on the
like-
straight and narrow, and like, because it's so easy for people to try and label us and call us names and say that we're you know, they've said things, you know, we're a racist group, which is actually really funny, because how can you be a racist when you're the race that experiences racism from other people? Or do you know what I mean? Like, you're a cult, you know, all these labels that we get. We are a hate group, we are, you know, all these terms, which we are very loving, peaceful, caring. We just told the truth. And so it was a matter of saying, look, even though we know who we are, we don't disrespect anybody else. We, you know, we get along, and of course, we protect ourselves legally and so on and so forth. So it was really a guideline for some people who may get the wrong end of the stick and think that, you know what I mean, we can now, you know, like, we're very respectful to other races. We talk about love and unity, but because we give the facts about certain topics and situations, some people may take it to the extreme. You know, you have people that, yeah, they take it to the extreme. I don't want to mention, like, there's certain groups that, you know, take things to the extreme, and we are not really about that. We keep within, you know, truth and keep within the laws of the land, until we're obviously in a position where we're no longer under, under the banner of people. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so is there another scroll that's more up to date?
Yeah.
Or is there a newer version of the...
Yeah, that's why I said the 33 Commandments of the Sabian,
Sure.
the Revelations to the Nuwapians, or the Sabian, what's the title? Yeah, the Revelation of the Sabians, that's a more up-to-date scroll. We have, as I said, the 33 Commandments. There are others, but, you know, obviously the Patarak, which is the way, you know, the way of our culture and what we do and what we don't do, depending on what the topic or the situation is. But yeah, those ones will be the ones that I would Yeah, I'll signpost you
Yeah,
to.
there's actually quite a lot of from what's in here, especially around like children and how raising the children, how we should be raising the children. I've read a few of those points in some of the Patarak, so yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Taratak Samal.
And tat astira for Zamal tat. Wadu. Gen 7130, you're not asking a question, you're making statements in terms of the languages, and we already explained that Nuwapic, Miss Batia, is our language, the original language on the planet, the most true language that all other languages come from. Yeah, so I know sometimes in the chat people come on and they're new or they want to exert their version or their doctrine or whatever their opinions and beliefs are, but yeah, it's the word even Semitic, that all ties back into the biblical stories. Moabites tie into the biblical story. We predate religion and those books, and we go back to the original people on the planet. So I just want to, I do clear up things sometimes because, you know, newcomers or people that may be easily influenced by someone saying something that is not what we teach. We have to clear it up, all right? Who is this? Actual facts. Mubtahu 24. Again, that's your opinions. You know, you come with. Okay. Yeah, I can tell when people are not up to date, and they will talk and say things that clearly shows they're not up to date in terms of the current information. And yeah, if you have your own platform or you want to, you know, teach what you teach, this platform is for asking questions and let us as student teachers of Parna Babyanun answer the questions. Okay. Yeah, all that. I mean, if you read, if you, and this is from Mubtahu 24. If you read the latest doctrine, as in Master Secrets, Actual Facts, and Patarak, they actually clear up some of that information. Yeah, thank you, Sakam. Sakam's already addressed that. Yeah, we deal with the hereafter teaching of the Master Teacher. And that's where we're at now, all right? Okay, let's keep going. Okay, all right, looking for questions. Okay, okay, people are just having a conversation, to be honest. It's like, one of the things we must, and I'm not directing this at anybody specifically, but we must keep our egos in check and realize that we're all learning and there's more to learn, and you're always learning. Why you have to stay close to the Master Teacher, Parna Babyanun, and don't try and run ahead, and don't try and think you know it, because you will find out swiftly, yeah, that, you know, people that they're still, you know, quoting the holy tablets and they're kind of stuck on a lot of the older information, but he's still here. He's live and direct with us, and still putting out, like he said, what he came to give us. So yeah, try to check your ego and be humble enough to learn and know that the one who taught you everything you're speaking about is still here and able to take you further and teach you more, if only you would listen and follow the Lamb wherever he goes. yeah, people be making their own doctrine and their own statements and coming with their own remix and their own flavor. But you know, let me just move on to questions of people who actually want to learn. Yeah, it's a lot of, like I did a class last week. You've got to do more than talk. Talking is great and regurgitating information is great, but are you still active? Are you here now? Are you still helping? Are you helping the stores? Are you participating in the legal, helping with the legal? Are you doing things to show that power that you have as, you know, someone who has been raised? Or is it just talk? Let's keep going. Okay, looks like yeah. Listen, we were already before the name Moors. You know, when people say Moors, a lot of people that talk about the Moors, yeah, they're talking about, they don't realize the difference between Moors as in Morenos and the other terms of Moors as they became Moorish, and then with the Arab influence, and which ended up with, you know, people like Noble Jew Ali, and even all the way to the Nation of Islam, with, you know, that Arabian influence. Okay, that's why people forget we go back before Moors. We go way back before that. We go back before the Arabs, and those teachers like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Noble Jew Ali, they were influenced by Asiatics. That's why, you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was called an Asiatic black man, not knowing the difference in terms of language and knowing that we're not Asians, we're Africans, and the African going back pre-dynastic, going back to the Pataites, going back to way before the whole Morenos and, you know what I mean, the Moors that people talk about. So yeah, we actually, all those books, we got this book here. Listen, we got this available right now. Let's set the record straight. It was a master that gave that doctrine about the Moors and broke it down to the point where everybody was now trying to be Moors, but not realizing you got different Moors. All right. Wow. What's this? Questions again. Right. That's what I want to see. Questions. And thank you for your response. Okay. Pronunciation is important because it's about tone, vibration, and frequency. But let me go to the question that I see. Rahobat Saken and all student Sabians Nuwapians. Question. This is follow-up to my question last time on Leviathan. Can you talk about the dragon? Okay, we know nothing except what we have. Okay, yeah, the dragon, depending on where the reference is coming from, if you're coming from the books of Revelation, when it's dealing with the beast and so forth, the word dragon is really talking about the draconians from Draco or Draco, which are the species of reptilians known as the Marid, okay? The species of Marid, or the reptilians from the Draco or Draco constellation. If you look at the image or the symbol of the constellation of Draco or Draco, draconian, dragon, draconian, because it's with K or C, you see it looks like a serpent, right? That's why the interpretation of like reptilians, a reptile is, yeah, the different forms of reptilians, and these reptilians are the ones that create the chaos, and they're tying into the beings. Like in the scriptures, they call them, you know, as I said before, they call them Anakites, they call them Anunnaki, they call them in the Islamic, in the Quran, they talk about Iblis, and they talk about Shakar, and they talk about this Iblis was Shakar's son. Okay, so these draconians, these dragon race are a species of reptilians that go to different places and try and take over and create chaos and want to take over and rule. And Tarnush was their leader, and today they have seed on the planet. And you know, this is what people are saying when they see you know, the eyes, they see them shape shifting, they're in society, they're controlling, they're part of the Luciferian conspiracy, right? Because Lucifer is talking about the Shakar and Lil, Nana, and these beings that they've been running this planet and had dominion over this planet for the last 6,000 years by way of putting people in place, the Adamites, and then ruling and controlling them. And it's through the bloodlines, and they tend to have the RH negative bloodlines, okay? Obviously, today, there's a lot of mixtures between people in terms of, you know, blood types, because you got A, B, O, A, B, then you got the negative factor, or the RH, which the RH kind of ties into the rhesus monkey. But because when they were doing the experiments on blood types, these are the cold-blooded reptilians that have no soul, and they basically do the bidding of these draconian that were eating, or flesh eaters, that were eating the Pleiadians, and the Pleiadians struck a deal with them to say, stop eating us, we can create a substitute for you. And then they went about grafting the Adamites, okay? So when you're saying about trying to see the question again, oh, there you go. We're talking about, can you talk about the dragon, the Drakion or dragon? That's what we're talking about. But of course, you also have the year of the dragon, which ties into, you know, like in the beast, in the Revelation, where the word, you hear the term, Michael and his angels fought the dragon and his angels, and then they were defeated and they were cast down here. And it tells you, like, read the whole of Revelation 12:7, and read the whole of the Revelations, because it goes through the whole story. By the time you get to like Revelation 18, right, read from 18 where it's talking about come out of Babylon, come out of my people. But when we say Babylon, Bab Elion, Bab El, this is tying back to when you're saying that the Anunnaki, Bab El or Elion or Babel, the doorway to El, or dealing with Babel, right? Tying into the confusion that is caused by way of these beings. So it's saying New Babylon, right? Not the old Babylon, because you had many empires that have been destroyed. 2121. That's the time right now. So that's like 9-9. We're going to be rounding off in 9 minutes. But that bloodline, they have offspring on the planet. And they're the ones that have been ruling and were given dominion over the planet for the last 6,000 years, which ended in the year 2000. So now they're in turmoil. Their world is coming down. The Babylon the Great has fallen. Yeah, go back and read the whole of Revelations, and it's falling before our eyes. This is the last empire, yeah? When you say vampire, you're really saying V empire, yeah? This V is representing these beings from, like I said, right? You're dealing with Vulcan beings, or dealing with these reptilian beings, okay? So that's what we're talking about. You got, like, in the book of Revelations, you got China that is represented by the dragon, Russia is represented by the bear, and America is represented by the eagle. But that eagle is really what they stole from ancient Egypt, because you look at the symbology on like the dollar bill and on the money, it's all about ancient Egypt, because that eagle is really coming from the phoenix. What does a phoenix represent? It represents the renewal, right? So that's what's happening right now. Babylon the Great is falling. A new world is coming. They're calling it New World Order. but the new world is the renewal of our story, okay? So one is falling, and the phoenix represent a renewal coming from the ashes and a renewal, and this is what's taking place on the planet right now, where the last six of the 6-6, right, when you're dealing with the year 2000, was the end of the last 6,000 years, right? Because you got 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000 gives you 24,000, which adds up to a 6. But within the last 6,000, yeah, if you had a cake and you cut it, you know, put a cross in the middle of it, so you have 4 quarters, right? The last quarter, if you break down into 3, you have 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, giving you the last 6,000 of the moon cycle, which ended in the year 2000, where the end of the devil's rule is up. But most people are still caught up in the residual of it dying. It doesn't go boom overnight. It's going to take time. But you're supposed to be raising your vibration, raising your consciousness, so that you're not caught up in its destruction. You see? So this is what Wu-Sabat is here to do, to help you raise your vibration, raise your consciousness, so that you know what to do and you're not caught up, like it says, Revelation 18:2, or read the whole of Revelations and read 18. It tells you, read 21. It talks about the fight and the devil fighting and the two sides. You got 9 ether, 6 ether. Michael, 9 ether, green light. 6 ether, dealing with fire worship, dealing with the old ways of the lies, you know, the religious world relying on the jinns, the jinn religion, the jinn, because the J and the G are interchangeable, because the J spells jinns, J-I-N-N-S, which is dealing with a demonic spirit, as is explained in Arabic in the Quran. That jinn is a spirit. The spirit force is Leviathan. Okay, so this spirit of jinn, not a coincidence that when you say jinn, as in when you drink a drink, as in the, you know, spirit, you get drunk, you start to act in a certain way, you're intoxicated, everything ties in. So we're seeing the fall of the dragon and his minions and his angels, and but it's got to get worse before it gets better. So it's about preparing, knowing what to do, and not get caught up in the lower vibration, which is going to the hell, right? Hell is a place as well as a state of mind. You create your own reality and you create the hell you're in, and you can change your mind and change your reality by putting 9 ether in your heart, in your intentions, and transform yourself so that you can make it through this chaos that's happening and going to happen as it comes down, as it fades. Just Google the Empire and you see there's a great documentary to watch called The Family, if you can find it on Netflix, and you will see certain things play out. Okay, wow, I've got more questions just when I thought we'd covered all the questions. All right, let's see if we can get through these quickly. Maria says, in terms of finance education, what aspects of finance and money should parents teach themselves and their children now for the near future? Listen, you gotta know we're living in a day and time of abundance. It's all about how you see your reality. Is your glass half empty or half full? There are so many opportunities with the internet and with AI, with this transformation, that you got to learn. And like, you know, people say whenever something new like crypto or things come in, some people are like afraid and don't get involved. But whatever is introduced, you've got to be able to be on top of it. You've got to be able to utilize it and make it work for you, and not see it, like I said, is the glass half empty or half full. Working together, we keep telling you, you ain't gonna get all the secrets from being outside. You gotta come inside. You gotta be a part of the community to see and know that information that you need. We give you as much as we can, but obviously not everything can be shared publicly. But yeah, you should be teaching your children the technology, AI, how to utilize it, and crypto and all these things are happening. And we knew about the cashless society years ago. Go back and read all the scrolls the master put out, the Millennium books, the year 2000, what to expect, the Luciferian conspiracy, the Leviathan books, Holy Tablets. I mean, Dr. York versus the Computer. All these books are available. If you didn't catch them back then, you can still get them, and or some of them anyway. And there, learn the truth, apply the truth, and the truth will bring you to work with those who are doing what you would like to learn to do. So don't be a stranger. Okay, where are we? We've only got 1 minute left. I want to see. Remember, if you didn't get your question answered, you can always send us 3 questions and video yourself asking those 3 questions and submit them to osmvision.wetransfer.com. Book a one-to-one with myself. Attend our classes, join the Telegram group so you can get your questions answered. I'm trying to see if I can squeeze one more in. So do you say Grand Rising since Good Morning is saying Lucifer's my God? We say Rahubat. We have many, depends on what you're trying to say. We say Rahubat, greetings. Thanks again, makes much more sense now. I thought it was connected to the myth of the giant dragon. Oh, there's so much to it, but yeah, we're giving you the real nuggets, the actual facts, all right? All right, everyone, we've come to that time. We want to say thank you to every single one that supports OSM Vision. Thank you for all your questions. Stay on the path, keep asking questions, keep learning, keep sharing, subscribing to our channel, and of course, make comments in the videos, and hit the notification button if you haven't done so. Same time, same place next week with myself, Saken Tawukum. Thank you all. Wadu.
Who is God? God is God.
I found out that this man who was Dr. Malachi York.
This free eye actors thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't because the Arabs will mess everything up, so hell, I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A swift myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, and then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth, and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet.
Extraterrestrials do leave their children here. We can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds. Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building this craft in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. So that means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures on a lower level.
souls are recycled, spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about the spirit and the soul.